Ambassador Ron Johnson, just 3 weeks later, true horrors of Biden's Afghanistan fiasco are surrealRep. Brian Mast says President Biden is delusional about the US no longer being involved in war 3 weeks ago. We all watched in shock as the most powerful military the world has ever known completed a frenzied and humiliating retreat from Afghanistan.
Despite repeated attempts by the Biden administration to portray the withdrawal as an extraordinary success, the facts point to a much different story. This has been an unmitigated series of costly failures accompanied by dishonesty, deceit, and deception at the highest levels of the United States government.
Apart from the loss of 13 service members, and the loss of hundreds of other innocent lives, the greatest cost has been the loss of the trust and confidence of the American people. Here is a quick look at what we know today. Abandoning Bagram Air Base and the decision to relinquish the security of Kabul to the Taliban cost the lives of US service members. It was the close proximity of US forces to the Abbey Gate that led to many of the casualties. US Central Command's commanding general, Kenneth McKenzie, told the American people that the US and Taliban shared a common goal, but the attackers successfully penetrated the Taliban's so-called security perimeter with enough explosives and small arms to take the lives of 13 well-equipped service members and to seriously wound 15 more.
As of September 15th, 7 of 15 wounded Marines remained at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. At least 2 were in critical but stable condition and 5 were listed as serious but stable. In respect of their privacy, their identities and the extent of their injuries have not been released. The promise to keep US troops in Afghanistan until the last American's way out was broken. On August 31st, President Biden stated that 90% of Americans in Afghanistan who wanted to leave were able to leave. The Biden administration has failed to provide an accurate accounting of those left behind, but Secretary of State Antony Blinken has repeatedly stated that there are approximately 100 to 200 US citizens still there. Independent estimates are much higher. Biden's denial that his top advisors warned against a complete US military withdrawal is not accurate. There are numerous accounts that top advisors in the Department of Defense and the intelligence community advised President Biden to keep a contingent of about 2,500 troops on the ground. This includes advice from General Scott Miller, the senior commander on the ground in Afghanistan. President Biden told the American people that over-the-horizon strikes would allow the US to strike terrorists and targets without American boots on the ground. This has been proven to be demonstratively untrue. In 2 separate over-the-horizon strikes during the final days in Afghanistan, unmanned drones launched from a site 8 hours away. The first strike in Nangarhar province was said to have eliminated at least 2 ISIS-K terrorist planners, but little is known about that strike, including the identities of the targets. As to the second one, in a press conference carefully timed to occur on a Friday, the Pentagon admitted that what Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley had previously declared a righteous strike had actually killed 10 innocent people, including 7 young children. The American people have been misled regarding the reaction of our allies. In his opening statement before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on September 14th, Secretary of State Antony Blinken stated that he had been in constant contact with US allies and partners, and that NATO had immediately and unanimously embraced it. The American people must not fall victim to deception, deflection and dishonesty. In fact, the British Parliament condemned President Biden for what they called failure and neglect of moral duty. The French foreign minister recently announced that the Taliban are lying and that France will not have any relationship with their newly formed Islamic government. On Friday, France recalled its ambassador to the US, an issue that was unrelated to Afghanistan, but directly related to a loss of trust and confidence in the Biden administration. And on Monday, Thierry Breton, a commissioner for the 27-nation European Union, stated that trust between the EU and the US has been eroded. The Biden administration made public commitments to help Afghan allies who had helped the US during the war, but the Department of State actually blocked support. As multiple private citizen and US veteran groups were trying to help evacuate people whom US veterans could personally vouch for, the State Department ordered at least one US embassy not to help in any way. Multiple sources said the State Department was responsible for all types of pushback, but when some efforts were successful, the State Department quickly inserted itself and claimed credit. According to US Congressmen Mark Wayne Mullen and Ronnie Jackson, this was absolutely a lie. The administration's rigid vetting process of Afghan evacuees is failing. Approximately 120,000 non-U.S. citizens were evacuated aboard U.S. military aircraft. The U.S. government has declined to say how many evacuees have arrived in the United States or to comment on their immigration status, but some reports state that the U.S. is currently housing over 30,000 evacuees in 5 states with another 40,000 overseas. At least one previously convicted rapist has already been identified among the evacuees, and on September 22 a federal jury in Wisconsin indicted 2 evacuees on crimes including spousal abuse and forced sex with minors. This is amid growing concerns that during the chaotic departure, human traffickers and other criminals pushed their way onto flights with false claims. The vetting process cannot happen quickly and is likely doomed to fail, especially given the lack of any diplomatic presence in Afghanistan. Some evacuees have already walked out of military bases inside the US where they were being housed. The claim that $84 million of left-behind weapons and military equipment does not represent a strategic threat to the US or our allies is false. On September 11, 2001, 19 terrorists armed with little more than box cutters and pepper spray killed almost 3,000 innocent people inside the US homeland. Those attacks originated out of Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Now, some of the same key personalities are back in control. They now have hundreds of thousands of modern weapons, sophisticated night vision equipment, mine-resistant vehicles, and an impressively large fleet of aircraft. To believe that the Taliban is now businesslike, that they hate us less, that they have become more tolerant, or that they will not use these weapons against US interests, is worse than naive. It is criminally irresponsible.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe